Huyu mtoto wangu watu wananiambia alikuwa anataka mali. Na mimi kwa roho yangu hata hiyo mali sina.
Majini sasa wao nimechukua majini ndio wamefugia tu kwa huyo mtoto.
Cerebral palsy is not only a complicated medical condition, but one that needs a loving, caring, and a persevering parent. Like the parents you see seated beside me, behind me, are those of a kind who take their time to give the best to their kids who are actually affected with that condition. Through the escapades in the villages of Manyasi, Namundere and Bulimia, all within Busia County, we meet these parents and guardians who uptake hefty responsibilities of taking care of their children who suffer from cerebral palsy, a hindrance from living a complete life.
Nilienda kwa daktari sasa vile nilikuwa nimegundua, kwa maana huyu mtoto nilikuwa nikakalisha hivi, hawezi kukaa, anaanguka tu panda nyuma.
Sasa mama yake alikuwa anafikiria tu pengine anafanya hivyo itakuja isha. Na kumbe inaendelea tu. Sasa mama yake na babake wakamwacha tu hivyo, wakafikiria pengine atakuja kurudi vile ilikuwa. Sasa ndivyo tu ni baada anaendelea paka saa hii.
In a medical perspective, cerebral palsy can infect the fetus between its mother's pregnancy and up to 3 years of age after birth.
Cerebral palsy is a disorder that affects body movement, body posture, and body balance, and usually it is caused by either an injury to the brain or an abnormality in how the brain develops, and it occurs when the child is still in utero, that's before the child is delivered, or during the first 3 years of the child's life.
Witchcraft for the purposes of gaining wealth is among the various finger points in myths and misconceptions that certain people within the society believe are the causes of this kind of disability, despite the fact that these parents are living a lowly life, its effect being divorced from their spouses and family rejection.
Kwanza nilikuwa nimeolewa, sasa ikabidi tukakosana na mzee, mother-in-law akasema hawezi hawazai watoto aina hii. Sasa ikabidi nikarudi hapa ndio kwetu.
Hao wamefuga tu majini. Majini sasa wao nimechukua majini ndio wamefugia tu kwa huyo mtoto, ndio inafanya atu wao watajiri, ndio inafanya huyo mtoto.
Wanachukulia kwamba mtu ukiwa na mlemavu kwa boma hata ukimzaa, au mtu akishikwa na ugonjwa fulani kisha imharibu awe mlemavu, wanasema huyo mtu amenunua majini na huyo mtoto sasa ndiye ameweka majini ndani yake ili aweze kupata faida.
Attaining livelihood is a considerable challenge for these parents, as most of their time is delegated to these children who can't feed themselves alongside complying with the other calls of nature.
Mtu anakuambia huyo mtoto wako naye anatushinda kulea, tutamleaje? Sasa pale penye naenda tu na yeye, siwezi nikamwacha.
Unlike women, men have been known to abandon their responsibilities in the upbringing of a child. A case in contrary with Vincent Juma, who ensures a kid get the necessary needs just like other normal kids.
Kitu ya kwanza mimi nilikuja nikajifikiria moyoni mwangu nikasema ulemavu upo, sababu nimetembea nimeona walemavu ni wengi. Na mamake pia akakubali. Sasa ikawa nimeua kazi zangu zote, siwezi kaa mbali na huyu mtoto sababu yeye malaria yake ikikuja inataka umkimbize hospitali ukwetu karibu naye kabisa.
Tusifanye unyanyapaa kwa watoto hao. Tuwalinde. Kama yule mtoto ambaye umepeleka daktari akasema ya kwamba huyu anafaa aenda shule, mpeleke, kwa sababu akienda shuleni atakuwa tofauti kidogo na yule ambaye hajaenda shuleni. Tusiwatupe, tusiwafiche, tuwafichue. Kwa sababu ukifichua mtoto huyo, hapo ndipo unaweza kupata usaidizi au unaweza pata mawaidha kwa mwenzake ambaye amemuona na akasema huyu mpeleke hivi, na hapo huyo mtoto atapata nafuu.
Accessing education and better medical services is a nightmare to these children. Despite them being a constitutional obligation, they are expensive, and school for children with such disability being unavailable within the county of Busia.
Busia hapa nimejaribu kutafuta hata shule pia ni ngumu, haijulikani iko wapi. So ilibidi nimekuja nyumbani nikaongea na mke wangu, nikamueleza tuko katika pitapita za kutafuta mahali tutapata educational assessment ya mtoto, lakini kusema ukweli Busia County sijawahi sikia mahali kuna shule za watoto wa cerebral palsy. na hiyo ndio shida moja kubwa tuko nayo.
Political leaders in this county are at the forefront of this blame, as their plea towards the electorate to get them elected is always vigorous, with huge promises only to disappear after elections, not taking into consideration key issues affecting their society.
Sijaona mtu kama huyo yoyote akinitembelea, hata mwanasiasa yoyote akinitembelea ati naweza kusaidia hata nikupelekea mtoto hospitali ama saidizi wowote, sijaona. Wakati wa kura naye wanakuja tena kwa wingi sana. Kazi yao ni kutaka tu kura, hawatafuti wenye wako kwa shida ama walemavu.
Hope and faith for a better tomorrow is all that is left for these parents, as their efforts by paying several visits to the government offices proved to be an exercise in futility.
Kuna wakati nilitoka hapa nikaenda mpaka National Council of Persons with Disability, kwanza kutafuta kwanza kadi ya sasa hiyo nini ya walemavu. Wakaniambia mpaka uanzie huku kwetu, huku nyumbani. Nikarudi nyumbani. Sasa tukafanya process hiyo kadi bado haijapatikana. Lakini bila nilienda Nairobi, nilikuwa naenda kwa offices, at least nisaidiwe mtoto aende shule. Polisi nyingi wananiambia kama hauna pesa hauwezi fanikiwa mtoto kama huyu. Sasa ikabidi nirudi naye hapa nyumbani.
Mr. Alhaji Mwanengo, the director of Disability Channel of Hope Center, explained their challenges in aiding the disabled within Bunyala West constituency, as they are not funded by any individual or the government.
Hatujawahi kupata ufadhili wowote, bali tulianzisha sisi wenyewe kupitia nguvu zetu kama walemavu, na tukaseti center hii. Walemavu ni watu ambao wana shida zao fulani. Wao ni watu ambao wanataka kurely kwa vitu ya kusaidiwa, sio watu wale ambao wanaweza wakajitolea.
Various symptoms have been drawn from cerebral palsy, as Dr. Macrino Lwala highlights them.
Children with cerebral palsy have delayed milestones. For example, a child at 3 months is supposed to know how to support their head, is supposed to sit with some support, but now these children with cerebral palsy, their heads are still heavy, they can't hold their heads properly. At 6 months, a child is supposed to be sitting without any support, but a child with cerebral palsy can't do this. At around 7-8 months, the child should be crawling, but in cerebral palsy, they're not able to do this. At around 1 year of age, they're supposed to be walking, but with cerebral palsy, they have those difficulties. Some children with cerebral palsy, depending on the side that is injured. For example, if the left side is okay, that's the side you'll see the child preferring to use, and they're ignoring to use the side that is affected. So that's just on developmental milestones. Other signs and symptoms also include speech delays, so they have difficulty in speaking. They might have hearing impairment. They might be they might have visual impairments. Some of them grow up with mental retardation. Sometimes the muscle tone is affected, so you find a child who is very stiff, or a child who is very weak and cannot support themselves.
Even though there are chances that cerebral palsy can be treated, this solemnly depends on the extent of damage to the brain, hence uncertainty.
To be clear, the treatment is multifactorial. A lot of specialists, a lot of healthcare workers are involved in taking care of a child with cerebral palsy, depending on how the child has presented to us. So most of the time, most of these children undergo a lot of supportive care. We have supportive care, and then we have definitive care. So under supportive care, we have our occupational therapists and physiotherapists who help the children try to bring back their normal muscle function. So they help the children sit by themselves, walk by themselves, help the children eat, help the children try and do some things for themselves, like feeding and all that. We also have behavioral therapists, we have speech therapists, we have orthopedic surgeons who come in if the limbs are affected. We have ophthalmologists who check the eyes when the eyes are affected. We have our ENT specialists who check the ears.
Preventing cerebral palsy begins during pregnancy, birth, and after birth, with pregnant mothers being cautioned against use of illegal drugs and illicit substances, as this might be one of the major causes of this medical condition.
We have to start from before the child is born, and then during delivery, and then after the child is born. So before the child is born, all mothers, please attend your antenatal clinics. It's very important that the pregnancy is monitored at least 4 times before delivery happens. And then during the pregnancy, if a mother feels unwell in any way, they should go to hospital for them to be checked out, because some infections that happen when the mother is pregnant can affect the child's brain development, and then eventually lead the child to having cerebral palsy. So anytime the mother is sick, they should come to hospital. There are some behaviors that should also be avoided, things like drugs, alcohol, cigarette smoking. Those should be avoided to prevent the child from having cerebral palsy. During delivery, the mothers should try very hard and come to hospital for delivery, so that the delivery is attended to by a skilled healthcare worker, because when you have issues during delivery, a lot of problems can occur and the child might end up with cerebral palsy.
Dr. McCreen highlights 3 types of cerebral palsy.
There are 3 types of cerebral palsy. The first type is the spastic cerebral palsy, where you have your muscle tone is increased, meaning that your hands, your upper limbs and your lower limbs are very stiff, and it can affect either both hands or both legs, or one side of either the left upper limb and the left lower limb, or the opposite. So there's that type. And then we have the dyskinetic type, where you have abnormal movements. So the child just has these jerky movements that are usually noticed as they're growing up. And then we have a third type, which is called the mixed type, where you have a combination of both the spastic and the dyskinetic cerebral palsy.
It's healthy for a new child to cry, failure to which, though not certain, there lies a chance of being infected with cerebral palsy.
There are several reasons, why a child might not cry immediately after birth. And I'd say for most children who don't, then there's a chance. It is not definite that they will have cerebral palsy, but there is a chance that they may, depending on what caused them not to cry. So yes, that is a high index of suspicion, I'd say that.
Raising a child has always been a responsibility alluded to the society, but the larger share still remains with the government to make sure that they secure the bright future of these young angels, the only thing that will bring happiness and smiles to their parents. Ahmed Halif, reporting for Health Matters, Busia County.